12:30 Eastern, and 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern, right here on CRN. And to get free information from Goldline International on investing in gold and financial information, call 1-800-827-4653. That's toll free and it's free information. 1-800-827-4653.
Everybody's talking at me.
CRN Digital Talk Radio, the original talkback with Chuck Wilder, Paul Stern at the toll-free number 1-800-336-2225. Live across America on this radio station or cable system and around the world at crntalk.com. Today, the Reverend Jesse Peterson going to be talking about playing the race card from Obama. Bob Calvert, founder of Talking to Heroes, Troop Stories from Afghanistan. Dave Bigo, author of Devil at My Doorstep. He says Americans should be terrified of the soon-to-be liberal, lame duck Congress. Wrap things up, Tom Palkin, chairman of the Texas Workforce Commission. WikiLeaks confirms that the war in Afghanistan is troubled and confused, and a special guest coming on in just a moment. And a perfect lead-in. Did you know, according to the American Minute, Bill Federer, July 28th, today, the 14th Amendment was adopted, 1868, because Southern states thought forced to end slavery by the 13th Amendment but not grant citizenship to freed slaves. Southern Democratic legislators passed black codes requiring freed slaves to be apprenticed to employees and punished anyone who left. Now, listen to just some of these words. Illinois Republican Congressman John Farnsworth, 1871. The reason for the adoption of the 14th Amendment was because of discriminating legislation of those states, by which they were punishing one class of men under different laws from another class. Republican John Bingham of Ohio, who introduced the 14th Amendment, said, "I repeal the suggestion that the amendment will take away from any state any right that belongs to it." And Thomas Jefferson forewarned, and this is sort of like a lead-in to this story, "The glim of dissolution of our government is in the federal judiciary, working like a gravity by night and day, gaining a little today and a little tomorrow, until all shall be usurped from the states." The 14th Amendment soon became the door by which federal courts took responsibility for other rights, eventually religion, away from the state's jurisdiction. So along comes a state that says, you know what, you're not doing your job, and by golly, we're going to write an amendment and laws that are going to take care of our illegal alien problem in Arizona. And along comes, and I got to eat crow on this one because I said the Clinton appointee judge, she surprised me. I thought, boy, this lady is sounding pretty good. But guess what? Nope, I am eating crow. I want to go to Rick Oatman. He is media director for CAPS, Californians Population Stabilization. Rick, I know you're traveling right now to Arizona. How are you, sir?
Eating crow. Like you, I thought that the law was going to be upheld because it seems pretty obvious, but this is just the first. This is just the first round, so you know, and this does keep the debate going, and it does keep it in people's minds, you know, as we lead towards the elections in November. But I, like you, actually thought, fooled again, that this judge was actually going to look. Susan Bolton was actually going to rule by the law. Now, there is a lot of politics in the judiciary, as we know. This does give the opponents a victory, a temporary victory, I think. But, you know, and I haven't seen it. It's 36 pages, but I did hear that she stayed the part that required visitors to the country to carry documents. I don't know how she can do that. Visitors to the country are required to carry documents under federal immigration law.
Under federal law, yeah. She struck down the section of the law that makes it a crime if someone fails to carry immigration registration papers, and a provision that makes it a crime for an illegal immigrant to seek or perform work. She's saying, come on in here, open the door. And by the way, if you don't think you're getting paid enough, check with, what's her name, Halia Sadias, or whatever, you know, the Yeah, anyway, that says if you're an illegal and you're not making minimum wage, you call us. We won't arrest you.
Oh, Hilda
Well,
Solis. Hilda
Solis,
Solis, one of the
yes.
author of one of the many illegal alien driver's license bills in Sacramento before she moved on to Washington. You bet. You know, I'm glad you started the story with that
14th Amendment.
with that explanation of the 14th Amendment. You know, people can read what that was about. And it's online. It's been years since I read it, but it was called the Congressional Globe, not the Congressional Record in those days. You can actually read the notes of the debate in 1866 and what they were debating. And once you're done reading it, if there's any doubt in your mind as to what the purpose of the 14th Amendment was, maybe you need to go back and read it again.
Yeah, taking away the states' rights, little by little, chipping away. And that's why Rick and I keep harping and crowing and preaching, I guess you would say, about you got to be careful who you get on these courts. I mean, it is so important because now this law is going to go to the most overturned circuit court in the United States history, and that is the Ninth Circuit Court up there in San Francisco land.
Let me say something about the Ninth Circuit. You know, the Ninth Circuit, Proposition 200 in Arizona, which is really what kicked off this entire thing. This is not the first immigration law that Arizona has passed. It's one of a series of them. And in 2004, Proposition 200, which was their version of 187, our 187, passed with 57% of the vote. It was challenged. I was in the Ninth Circuit when the Maldiff attorney made the arguments against it, and the Ninth Circuit turned them away. And so, you know, and if the Ninth Circuit, you know, rules in favor of this judge and they're overturned, well, then they're overturned. But I think the idea that people in Arizona cannot pass a law that mirrors federal law to protect the state,
Yes.
which is being overrun with crime and illegal aliens and drug traffickers and everything, that's just going to outrage people even more and make them look even closer at who they're voting for in November.
Well, the two clowns, Obama and Holder, wow, did I call the president a clown? Well, all right, he's the one that directed him to do it. They basically are saying that they have to overturn this law because they argue that letting this law stand would create a patchwork of immigration laws nationwide that would needlessly complicate the foreign relations of the United States. Wait a minute, does that mean the terrorists, what foreign relations? My goodness.
I'll tell you the real reason they're doing it. And in fact, if you go to our discussion board at capsweb.org, you'll see the piece I wrote called Preserve, Protect, and Defend the De facto Amnesty. That is what this is about. This Arizona law, this 1070, has now shifted the momentum in the country. Poll after poll shows that supermajorities of Americans approve of enforcing immigration law and securing the border and the Arizona law. At least 18 states are talking about doing something similar. But what the point of the Obama law is to preserve the de facto amnesty that we've been living under for 18 years. Clinton, Bush, Obama, all the same, do as little as possible. Sometimes I think, Chuck, the only reason they do anything at all is so that people like you and me can't say they're doing absolutely nothing.